Well, everybody, welcome to a brief episode of the Jake and Cory podcast because one of the hosts just happens to be in a Dramamine leftover induced semi-coma. And that is one Jake Woods.
Hi, I'm Jake. That's Cory. That's been the show. Thank you very much.
Good night!
And we'll catch you next week.
Thank you. Greatest episode ever, folks. Jake's having some sleeping problems because he has relationship issues, so he decided to medicate himself to go to sleep last night. And I normally do that, but my sleep issues aren't derived from relationship issues. My sleepless nights are derived from stress and fatness.
No, like for real, I do have an issue falling asleep at night.
You have insomnia? Is it insomnia?
I do have insomnia, but like luckily for me, my job, I don't work until noon. So it's like, you know, if you have insomnia and you work at noon, you can kind of work it out.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that you stream until 3 a.m. in the morning?
No, that's just a byproduct of my insomnia. This has been a thing since I was in high school. Like, I remember being up until like 3, 4 in the morning and being like, shit, I have to be to school in like 3 hours. Like, even in high school.
That's not even worth going to sleep at that point.
Yeah, oftentimes I didn't, but you got to sleep a little bit sometime. But I've tried everything. Weed helped a little when I was like in college. Yeah, so like I've tried so many things, and I've tried melatonin before, and I've done it a few times. Every time I just have like the craziest dreams, just like the most intense dreams. It does put me to sleep. Like it knocks me the fuck out. But like I have the craziest dreams, and then the next day I wake up and I feel pretty good at first, and then as the day progresses, I always just feel more and more tired. Like the melatonin is like kicking in for a second dose, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back to sleep. Like,
no,
it's so rough.
It's not that the melatonin is kicking in for a second dose. What's happening is that the melatonin receptors that the artificial melatonin blocked the night before are now being released along with your normal dose of melatonin. So that's what causes the drogginess of the drogginess. Now, where this becomes a big problem as you step into the doctor's office of Dr. C. Blaze here, is that if you continue to put artificial melatonin in your body, your melatonin developers and receptors will actually stop working. And your body will become dependent on the artificial. But because you don't do it so often, that's why you're the droggy heavy, hours after having a melatonin sleep, because your body said, oh, wait, I'm producing melatonin to put him to sleep, but there's already melatonin there. So I'm going to put these in reserves until he needs to go to sleep again in the next 12 hours or whatever. And then when it comes to that point, the melatonin is now you're in a melatonin overload. And that's why you feel so groggy.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've heard melatonin can be overused and it can fuck you up.
I'm a doctor like Dr. Pepper is a doctor.
It does put me to sleep, or like Dr. Phil, fuck that guy. Anyway, let's start the show.
Hey, I'll put you to sleep too. Rock-a-bye, Jakey. Oh shit, I dropped him. 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? This is a Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That's Cory. What's up, Cory?
The other day, I was thinking to myself,
okay,
for all of those people that didn't think that the coronavirus was real, why do they think and believe that the vaccine is real? I think we should be allowed to deny those people who denied the virus the vaccine. They shouldn't be allowed to get them. Only the people that honored it, that protected themselves, should be able to get the vaccine.
I'm going to hard disagree because it's good for everyone to have the vaccine.
No. If you didn't believe the coronavirus was true, you should not get the vaccine. Fuck you, non-corona believers.
We're starting to see like the mumps come back because people aren't getting the fucking vaccines. Like, let everyone have the vaccines, even if they were stupid.
I love Mumford and Sons. Let them have a comeback. What's wrong with that? Let Mumford and Sons have a comeback.
But like their alt rock shit, that was kind of lame. I want them to go back to that folk rock shit.
Yeah, I need more cowbell. More cowbell.
I'm a huge fan of Redemption, and I think if people were stupid then and want to be cool now, fuck it, let them be cool now.
See, man. Jake, this is where you and I disconnect. And there's not many things that we disconnect on. Yes, there is. But you and I, you are too giving. You're too forgiving. The people that
our internet barely connects most of the time.
I know, and you're too forgiving. You're a second chancer, third chancer, fourth chancer. Me, Cory Blaze. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. If you didn't believe the coronavirus was real and you were touting the fact that, and the only reason why I think this is because I had a high school friend of mine who I follow on Instagram. He did this. Since this whole thing's been going on, he's been claiming that it's a conspiracy dreamed up by the Democrats and blah, 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 and it's a hoax and all this other shit. And then here last week, he's posting a picture of his vaccine sticker. And it took everything in me not to comment on his Instagram post. You heretic motherfucker. If the coronavirus wasn't real, according to the last 8 posts on your Instagram page, why the fuck did you get the vaccine, you little lying little bitch?
Yeah.
That's literally that's literally what I'm thinking. And I think that there should be a bylaw allowing hospitals to say, look, we see on your social media you've denied the coronavirus was even real. So we're going to just give you a fake vaccine. So here's some saline, motherfucker. Go with God.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree because the only reason I disagree, because I do like agree with you fundamentally, but like I disagree with you only because them having the vaccine helps everyone. Just like everyone wearing a mask helps everyone, the mask isn't to protect you, it's to protect everyone else. Just like I feel like someone getting the vaccine isn't to protect you, it's to protect everyone else.
The science is a little different now. The science understands it a little differently that now mask, yes, it protects everyone else, but there are certain masks that also do protect you, and it's not just the N95 mask. So they've actually, the CDC has kind of backed off the fact that the mask protects other people. It protects you too. I'm living proof of it because when I have to shoot basketball, the few times that I do a month, literally twice, I'm around people that don't have mask on. And people that are anti-maskers, even though there's a big cartoon-sized fucking sign outside that says mask required inside the arena.
But don't you think you wearing a mask and you did have COVID and someone wasn't wearing a mask, it's probably still beneficial that you wore the mask to protect them
absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
Like, and I feel the same about the vaccine, though. Like, yeah, you get the vaccine to protect yourself, of course, but it also protects other people because you're preventing yourself from giving it to other people.
Well, they don't know that yet. They don't know that yet. They don't know if like, you can be, the vaccine is just going to make you asymptomatic and you can still share it. They haven't figured that out yet. There's a case study in place right now that's studying that. The study is in the works right now, but I still stand on that. If you've been an anti-COVID person, then you, number one, you should be.
I agree with you only because I'm sorry to cut you off. Only because there's such a limited supply of the vaccine.
Right.
But if the supply was like, everyone
like the flu,
have it, no problem. Then
yeah. We screwed up we're screwed up the vaccine too. So I hear that there is now, Joe Biden, Uncle Prezi,
creepy Joe,
creepy Uncle Joe.
Isn't that what Trump called him? Creepy Joe or something? Like
Sleepy Joe. Sorry. So it there's this buzz, and I haven't really read up on it. I don't know if you know anything about it, that there's a $2.9 trillion stimulus package that Uncle Joe is presenting that could deliver $2,000 to the American people in February.
No.
Okay.
What it is it's $1,400 to like compensate since we only got 600 in January.
Oh, so he's just rounding it off.
But I read some of the stimulus stuff that he was presenting, and some of it seems pretty good. I can't remember a lot of it offhand, but like some of it seems pretty good. He might as well have just kept it at 2,000 just to make people happy, because I think a lot of people are going to be distracted that it's, well, you were promising 2,000 and you're only giving me 1,400. I think a lot of people are going to get distracted by that. There's a lot of other good stuff in the stimulus that I was reading up on. Well, a lot better than what the Republicans were writing up. So,
well, while you look that up, I don't know a lot of details about it. Even if the stimulus package at this point was giving every American $20,000, people are so far behind right now. The interest rates have not stopped. Credit card companies are still charging interest rate. They're not reporting to credit bureaus and stuff like that and hitting them with late fees, but those interest charges are still racking up. APS people here in Arizona, if you're behind on your electricity bill, those charges aren't going away. You know, so people are still way more than $2,000 behind. And if you have children, right, small children, and you've had to make investments in the computers, and you've had to you now have a internet cable bill that's bigger than what it was before. You know what I mean? $2,000. I think it's so late in the game at this point. Any amount of money that they throw out that's, less than having the American people submit to the government how far behind they are. It's just a drop in the water. It's a drop in the bucket, unfortunately.
So here's a little bit of the plan, though, because it is more than that $1,400, and I agree with you. Like, $1,400 doesn't really do much.
Yeah, people are so far behind now.
Yeah, but here's some of the stuff. It wants unemployment insurance supplement of $400 a week. So back to that, where it wants to give you $400 extra if you're on unemployment. They want to give more money to schools so they can reopen safely, which is huge.
Which is big. Speaking that, Governor Ducey just this last week said that schools need to cancel doing virtual or they're going to lose state funding. Motherfucker.
Yeah. Administration officials are suggesting $170 billion for school supplement and additional funds. So that's great. They want to raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to $15 per hour, which there's a lot to think about there, because it's like absolutely McDonald's and stuff can pay that. But you wonder about the smaller businesses, and will there be like supplements for these businesses that aren't prepared to pay?
I hope that there's some underwriting in there where they're not going to allow these big, huge, established corporations to do it, and where it is someone that is a smaller, independently owned, non-franchise business that will be able to grab those money so that they can pay those employees. Those are the true employees that are on the front lines of those mom and pop shops. And unfortunately, those are also the employees, the mom and pop shops that can't either afford or are not enforcing a lot of the COVID protocols here in the state of Arizona. And most directly in Phoenix, where they're getting shut down because they're unable to afford the protocol means, or they're just not enforcing it.
Yeah, this says the federal minimum wage would rise to $15 per hour under the proposal, which would also end the tipped minimum wage, which is crazy because that's been a standard for America for a long time.
Isn't it $3.25?
Yeah, something crazy like that. And sub-minimum wage for people with disabilities, so that's someone like with mental disabilities. And here's more. States and localities could potentially get more help from the national government, so more states would get support, which is unbelievable that Trump has really just left states down and just let them die, essentially.
Well, this is that's a very good point, Jake. This is where the federal government shit the bed with this whole entire vaccine rollout. they left it up to the states. And then here in Arizona in particular, our Governor Douchey, Governor Douchey, left it up, passed the buck again to the individual municipalities, the individual counties, and the individual cities. And if I've been to a couple of city council meetings in my day, that's just a shit show. A portion of those people in there don't even get paid for what they're doing. And you pass something as important as the vaccine rollout to the municipalities and the cities. It's the same thing he did with the mask ordinance. He passed that out to the cities and the mayors and let them make their own. There was never any, that's why we shit the bed. Because there was never any leadership and organization. They passed it. That's literally like a CEO of a corporation putting the biggest decision that the company could make on the shoulders of his receptionist. Is literally how this whole thing rolled out, and why we screwed them pooched the bed. And you know what? I see Biden's plan, but one of the flaws that I'm going to point out in that is that he's giving states the opportunity to come in and get more federal funds. I don't think the states should be able to get the federal funds. I think the cities and the counties should be able to go and get those federal funds. Fuck the states, because they haven't done anything to begin with, especially the state of Arizona.
The cities and stuff get that money through the states.
No. You don't think for a minute that Douchey isn't going to take money that he's getting from the federal?
I understand, but that's just how it works.
That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it's written on paper, but that's not how it's working. He just put in another tax increase for people that are, or tax loophole for people that were making over $400,000 to compensate them for the back end tax that they have to pay for that passed on Prop 208. So now all that money that they were paying out, now they have a new tax break to get that money back.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this motherfucker to be up for re-election. I'm going to campaign so hard against him. Yeah. Jesus, pizza. 2 years.
Also, part of this proposed stimulus is Mr. Biden is asking for $160 billion in funding for a national vaccination program, expanding testing, and public health jobs program, and other steps meant to fight the virus, according to the administration summary.
Uncle Joe.
The plan would invest $20 billion in a national vaccination program in partnership with states, localities, tribes, and territories, and would try to ensure that people can receive shots free regardless of immigration status. About $50 billion would go towards improving testing, and $40 billion would be earmarked for shoring up protective gear and supplies, deploying emergency response personnel, and improving supply manufacturing.
I want to know one thing of Uncle Joe, and maybe because I haven't been paying attention, but I want to know one fucking thing. Is he putting back in that pandemic committee that Obama established? Is that committee back in place? Is going to be put back in place?
Well, hold on. Before we get to that point, there's two more things that I want to address about the bill, because that is a good question.
Please.
But I think it's a little unrelated to the stimulus. The other thing is, and I'm getting this from the New York Times as well. I'd like to just make it clear where my source is here. The plan would expand paid leave. Mr. Biden would renew pay leave provisions that were not extended as part of the December package, while eliminating exemption for big and small employers. The plan would allow for 14 weeks of paid sick and family and medical leave for caregivers dealing with closed schools or care centers, while providing for $1,400 leave benefit for eligible workers. So that's good. Mm-hmm. And parents would get financial help. The plan would temporarily increase the size of tax credits for more families and make them refundable, meaning people would get cash even if they do not earn enough to owe income taxes. Under the expanded child care tax credit, families with children up to age 13 could receive a total of up to $4,000 for one child or $8,000 for two or more children. Mm-hmm. Families making less than $125,000 per year would receive the full credit, while those earning up to $400,000 would receive a partial credit.
That's his.
I don't know.
That's his play to the other side. That's his play to the other side because everything else would have eliminated even those 400 plus.
Well, yeah, but that's the right call though, because you want to make it like, hey, you got to make it clear, like when we say rich people, we mean fucking rich people, like fucking, like I think when people are like, the Democrats, they just want to take money away from the rich. I think they think like they're rich when they make $150,000 a year, which is a very good living. That's a very, very good living. But that's not who the Democrats are talking about. We're talking about people like fucking Dave Grohl, who has a $200 million net worth, or Elon Musk, who has, 2.5 or he has like $100 billion.
Yeah, he's the most richest. Right? He surpassed the Amazon guy.
Yeah, him and Jeff Bezos have been fighting it out, and
Jeff Bezos would have won if he didn't get divorced.
So yeah, I think the $400,000 is just saying to the Republicans, like, hey, when we say rich people, we mean fucking rich people, okay? Because ultimately, this is like a very good thing for people with children, because if you have children, you're trying to work, there's a pandemic, you're trying to keep your kids safe, but you're also needing to make money to provide for your children. Like it's rough out there for people with kids. So like this stimulus package that he has laid out is way more than just the $1,400 checks.
Yeah,
that's just like the tip of the iceberg, and these are just the things that they've said out loud. I'm sure there's even more to this package that isn't fully clear yet.
Yeah, there's probably some streaming. There's probably some new streaming music law that's written in there somewhere.
Oh, come on, why you got a black pill like this, dude? Come on, just have some positivity. Like this is the first package that we've seen that is like, oh, this is like what a real government would do.
Yeah,
during a fucking like we should have seen a package like this back in fucking March of last year.
Yeah,
like
100%. That's what and you said it perfectly. That's what a real government does. And that's what whether you're on board with Biden or not, what we're doing is we're getting back, we're heading back, hopefully, into a realm of having a real government. And it's going to be weird. Yeah. I was watching a couple of his speeches after the siege on the Capitol last week. And I was like,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And I was like, I've forgotten what it's like to watch a presidential person address the nation. I've literally forgotten what that feels like, and it felt good. It was a good feeling. Now I may not, people may not agree with everything wholeheartedly and what he says, and that's typical of what happens. But I think that the way that
I disagree with him on a lot of stuff already.
The way that the Senate and the House is set up, I think there's a lot of things that are going to be done. I really think that there's a lot of things that he's going to be able to get done.
And the funniest part is that this is entirely Trump's fault.
Oh, totally.
It's so funny. Like we're about to become a way more liberal country, and it's 100% Trump's fault because he fucked up so hard that people stopped backing the Republicans, dude.
Yeah, he did. And it's going to be a long road back for that party. It's going to be a long road back for them because they are, dude. Oh my gosh. It's
Trump was like really their last hurrah. I think.
It was said at the time before he was even nominated. They said that he would be the death of their party.
Yeah.
There was a quote that said that he would be the death of the Republican Party, and that's literally what we've experienced.
I don't doubt that we'll see like a resurgence of the Republican Party, but I think it'll be a very different Republican Party.
I think it will be very it has to be.
They need to restructure. They need to become more liberal too.
Yeah.
And just
not even more liberal. They need to shave off some things that have grown. The barnacles, they need to shave off the Trump barnacles. Because I mean, though history probably would agree that a lot of the Republican Party is forever, since they've been in existence, it's literally been about, about color and skin and everything that's happening. It literally just boils down to color and skin. They really have to get that barnacle off of their party if they have any hopes on ever recovering.
It's a lot of social politics. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Even more than that, it's like, not even more than that, but even beyond that, like, it's also like abortion is like a big thing for Republicans, and
homosexuality is a huge thing.
Homosexuality, trans rights. I mean, like these are all things that just they shouldn't even. These are not things that they should worry about, because as a free country, that shit shouldn't even be in question.
It almost feels like the country itself has progressed away from the Republican Party, and the Republican Party is just only trying to regress the country. I mean, that's how it plays at sometimes. And I'm not saying the Democrat Party is spotless and perfect. I'm not part of either party, quite honestly, but that's the way that the Republican Party.
I don't think anyone is truly,
No, and you know what? And I think that that's a healthy way to have a political life, is to be able to recognize the faults on both sides, to be able to honor the fact that both sides are flawed, and to be able to know and understand that the political system in itself is flawed.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe for me to say I lean liberal or Democratic, but like I would never call myself a Democrat.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I even maybe lean a bit socialist at times, but I would never call myself a socialist. Like it's just one of those things.
You know what I call you?
What's that?
I call you Jake.
Jake? Yeah.
Thanks for getting to the joke
right.
3 seconds before I did, Jake. I only got 4 or 5 jokes for this show, and you just stole one.
So, Cory,
what you been playing?
My grandma blocked me on Facebook. Okay.
Wait, stop. Question 1. How the fuck does your grandma have Facebook?
I have no idea.
How many cat pictures are on her Facebook page?
I don't know. She blocked me, so it's hard to say. So I'm getting into it. I don't even give a shit. I just think it's a fun story. She posted this thing. All right. We're getting into Facebook drama. This is why Facebook sucks too, by the way.
Right.
She posted this picture, which hilariously, it's like these old dudes and they're all holding signs that say the silent majority stands with Trump, which is hilarious because Trump supporters are not silent at all. They're fucking loud as shit and annoying as hell.
Yeah.
So that alone is hilarious. And then in text around it, it says, why do elderly Americans support Trump? And then it says, because they grew up in a free America and they want the same for their grandkids. Okay. Normally, I wouldn't comment on something a family member would say, or frankly, I normally don't even get involved with politics on Facebook if it means it's going to turn into an argument. Typically I'll just mute those people and like not look at it. But the thing that got me about this post was that it said for their grandkids, and I happen to be her grandkid. So you're basically invoking my name in this post. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see how you're looking at it.
Yeah, so I felt it was necessary for me to reply, and I said, hey, didn't segregation only end in 1964? How the hell is that free? What about that is free? Didn't Trump say grab her by the pussy, even though there's no consent? How is that free? Wow. Then I said, oh yeah, he also incited a coup at the Capitol and opposed a free and fair election. That sounds like freedom to me, Grandma, you fucking lunatic. And then she blocked me after that.
You think? So, you called her a fucking lunatic?
I didn't say fucking lunatic. Actually, all I said was lunatic. So you could take it as me calling her a lunatic or calling Trump a lunatic.
Okay.
But really what I was doing was calling them both lunatics because they are. And so I just, that was a fun experience. It's always good when your grandma's blocking you on Facebook.
Are you still blocked? Wait a minute. How long ago did this happen first?
This happened 2 days ago. I'm still blocked.
You're still blocked.
I imagine I will continue to be blocked. Well, because the funny thing is, like, I don't even really know my grandma.
So she just blocked some rando. She thinks that you're just some Randy.
No, she knows who I am, but, like, you know, I've met her like 5 times in my life. So
so it's not someone that you're close to.
Yeah, but still,
are you now? Listen, now, do you think it was Grams that blocked you, or social media? These social media companies have been blocking people for just random shit.
No, it was Grandma because she was texting with my dad later.
So it's confirmed through your father that she blocked you on Facebook.
Her son, yeah.
Wow. Wow,
hilarious.
So
I just thought I'd talk about that on the show because I thought it was funny.
So I wonder how many Trump flags she has outside of her house.
Oh God,
is she a Trumper or is she a Republican?
I mean, if she posted that, then she must be a Trumper, I guess.
I mean, that's literally saying that they want slavery. She wants slavery back.
Yeah, we lived in a free country back in my day. This lady's like 80 years old, dude. That means she grew up with
segregation.
Like straight up segregation. Not even like she was a young kid when segregation ended. Like she was an adult when segregation ended.
You know, in 10, 15 years when all these people are dead, hopefully their kids will forget.
But here's the thing though, Cory. Because like people love to give a pass to old people and like say like, oh, but they're old, they don't know any better.
Not me.
Yeah, me either. I'm like, we should not give passes to these people. They should know better because they grew up and they saw it happening. And if they didn't learn from that, fuck them, dude. They need to learn this lesson before they die.
I agree.
Like,
I'm with you. I used to feel that way. I used to feel that way of giving them a pass. I'm like, oh, they're old. There's no way to change their way of thinking. And you know that old adage of you can't teach an old dog new trick. Well, you know what? When Old Yeller got old, they took him out to the back and shot him in the fucking head. So I think that you know if they're at that point where they're just so old they can't learn any new tricks, it's time to take them out back, shoot them in the fucking head. Let them go. Because those are the ones that are still holding on to that old ideology. That is the reason why this damn thing won't die. Because they're spewing that freaking vial into their grandkids as grandma just did.
Yeah. And there is a difference between like grandma being straight up like, I support Trump. I love Trump. Back in my day, things were better. And, you know, grandma, you know, just saying like an offhanded thing because she's stupid and doesn't know better.
Right.
I think there is like that difference. You kind of know the line, but I guess you have to find that in your own heart too.
I would like to meet this grandma.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like to meet this grandma that blocked you. I want to give her a big kiss.
Well, oh.
You saw through that one? You see through that one?
Yeah,
that would be multiple. And I do it for the entertainment factor.
Well, should we talk about it, Cory?
What?
Should we talk about it?
What should we talk about, Jake?
Donald J. Trump has been the first president to be impeached twice. And not only has he been impeached twice, he has been impeached as many times as every U.S. president combined.
Now listen here. Jake, I will not allow you to sit here in front of me and shoot down and put a black mark on the fact that this is the most winningest president ever. He is always a winner. He wants to be the leader. So of course it is only befitting for him to lead the presidential pack of being impeached twice. It was so hard for me to get that damn joke out. This is just another pleat in his cape that he is a leader and he is a winner. Because if you're going to get impeached, punk presidents get impeached once. Bill Clinton, punk president. Trump, superior president. He got 2 impeachments. 2.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? I'm waiting for Baskin and Robbins to come out with a new flavor of ice cream, impeachment peach. I'm waiting for that to happen. And when they do, I'm buying 2 scoops with a side of banana.
The really unfortunate thing, though, is there's no way Senate's going to do anything about it within the next 5 days.
Well, not within the next 5 days, but it can even happen after he's out of office, Jake. The whole process is, we talked about this last week, is that it needs to go through so this dude can never run for federal office ever again. That's what they're angling for. That's what we need to be able to do. We need to put that block. I don't care how long it takes. It needs to be 100% completed and done so that he can never run for public office ever again. And anybody on the other side that is arguing the fact, well, he's out of office, they're refusing to recognize the fact that he can run and be back in office again, and we can be back into this. Remember, folks, 74 million people saw nothing wrong with what he was doing. 74 million people. So all that takes is for a couple of tens of millions of people to sleep on the next presidential election with his ass is on there, and before you know it, we're right back in Trumpology. The impeachment needs to go through, and I think that it will. Old bitch McConnell can call in those Republicans back into the Senate, and they can hold a vote within the next 5 days before January 20th. They can, and he can. Will he? We don't know. But he's about done. He's about as much done with Rump as everybody, most other people are at this point. But the impeachment has to go through so he can never do this to this country ever again. So the impeachment has to go. The impeachment has to go through, man. It has to.
I agree. It has to. Will it? I actually don't think it will. I actually don't think it matters though, because I know you're saying you're worried about him being reelected in 2024,
or him running for any federal office, man.
Sure, but I think now that he's out of office, people are going to come for him legally for legal reasons, like a myriad of illegal things that he's done either as president or before president even. I'm not convinced that he didn't run for president just to get away from some of those things that he was facing before. Like, I imagine he was probably trying to evade some sort of legal reasons. My guess is that he's going to move to a totally different country and fucking hide because he's so scared of being accused of something. I'm not even exactly sure of what it is.
He's so mentally broken. He's not. That'll never happen. He's not leaving this country. He's so mentally. Well, I think he doesn't think that he's done anything wrong. He doesn't think that anything that he's done, everything he's done, has bettered America. This is a sadistic mindset, dude. He's sticking around. He's not going away.
I just think it'd be hella ironic if he did leave this country. You know, he was here saying he loves these people more than anything. He would do anything for the country. This is his country, and then he leaves. Also, just like, you know, the people that are like, if you hate this country so much, why don't you fucking move? And that's what he's doing, which means he hates the country, and you supported him. Yeah. And we stuck around and tried to fix the country because we love it. And that's the thing. We said this on last week's show.
Exactly.
Like, we love this country. That's why we want to see it change.
I want to talk to Trump supporters in 8 years. In 8 years, I want to know.
True, a lot of them will be dead.
I want to see if the fervency behind. I probably already know the answer to this. The answer is no. I want to see if the fervency, but I'll ask the question anyway. I want to see if the fervency that they've had, the passion that they had for Trump, is going to transfer to the next Republican president. Because I've lived a long time, and I've seen a handful of presidential elections. I've never seen the Republican Party have such a level of fervency for their candidate. And I don't know. I'd be interested to see if that's going to happen for the next person. The next Republican, because there's going to be another one. There has to be another Republican
of course.
Presidential nominee.
And I think it's going to be a different Republican Party. Or what we could see is like a totally different party. I don't know what it is. Who knows what the future holds for us? We seem to be moving in rapid succession right now.
It's flying. You know what? It seems like it's starting to fly by now. But I don't know about you, Jake, but the last 4 years, it's just felt like a elongated root canal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It literally
True.
has just and especially more so for me. And yes, I'm going to play the race card. Even more so for me, I have never in my life worried, and I don't like to use the word fear, but for lack of better words, fear for my children's safety, for the safety of people that look like me. I've never, ever since that. I mean, to the point where I used to talk about on my show, Fat Guy Radio, my disdain between my neighbor and I over the feral cats that she keeps on her property. The last couple of years, I ain't said shit to her about it because now I fear that all she has to do is go Karen. All she's got to do is just pick up the phone, and I'm in a worse situation over these damn cats. You know what I mean? And I've never in my life ever lived in that mindset that I have now in the last 4 years. And I'm hoping that this mindset loosens up, quite honestly.
Well, I think a good sign, like something to be a little optimistic about. Obviously, I don't have your experience, but I think like something that I think is a positive outlook of this is if you look back to our last Republican president at the time, people were pretty like fervently supporting him, especially during the Iraq War and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just 8 years later, basically right after Obama was elected president, a lot of Republicans were like, we were wrong about that. Like, we were wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that was not the right move. And I feel like that's going to be the case in even the next 2 years, where a lot of Republicans or people who support Trump are going to say, yeah, in hindsight,
but the damage
that was a little.
But the damage is done, man. And
but the damage, I think the I'm trying to have a positive outlook.
Yeah, I know. I see where you're. See where you're coming from.
Hear me out, because I think the damage was there already. We just didn't know.
Yeah,
and I think this exposes the mold, and it makes it a lot easier for us to clean it now. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point. That's an extremely good point. Is that we've now exposed something. We shined a light into a dark corner of America. And unfortunately, pardon the pun, no pun intended, dark corner of America. But I'm hoping that that's the case, Jake. I'm going to glom onto your optimism that I'm hoping that that's the case for right-thinking, tax-paying, law-abiding African-American people like myself will be able to lead the life that America was designed for them to lead. Now, I will also say that there is a rather significant segment of the African American culture that doesn't deserve that. And you can,
I mean, that's true for anyone, though,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But when I love it when people say, black people got a bad rap or black people have it hard. Yes, that's true. But then there are some black people that make what's a life that's already hard harder.
That's true for anyone though. That's true for anyone though.
So I don't know. I'm gonna glom onto your optimism, and stuff like that. And I hope that's true. I really do hope it's true. I know that with Uncle Joe coming in the office overnight, everything isn't going to become roses, peaches, and cream. And we've got a long road ahead of us. But my God, Jake, I'm just counting down the days. But when this show posts, it's gonna be 3 days away. And next episode, it will be party episode. It'll be my turn to party. It'll be my turn to celebrate. And Jake, all I have to do is give you a warning now. Get ready for some man boobs.
Hell yeah, I'm ready for these man boobs. Hey, I want to get away from politics for a minute.
Well, the show's over, but go ahead.
No, we still got time.
Okay.
I want to talk about something it's been so interesting seeing this happen. Okay.
Yes.
It's been so interesting. I've known you, Cory, for how long? Like close to 10 years.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah. We are literally, in the eyes of Arizona, we would be common law married.
Yeah. I've known you. Yeah, I think it's been like 9 years, almost 10 years. But the whole time I've been a huge gamer, and you've known that about me, and you're not a huge gamer, and I know that about you, and somehow we've made this relationship work.
I've made this relationship work.
You started getting into Twitch a little bit.
I did.
Which was like, you still didn't really play games, but you're starting to understand the culture a little bit. Mm-hmm. For lack of a better term, I guess.
Yeah.
The culture.
No, Twitch is a culture within itself. I've learned that.
It is.
It is a culture within itself.
Yeah. But you could totally be like a Twitch watcher and not be a gamer. But I'd say over the past 2 weeks, I introduced you to a game. Like, we played Among Us, and, I think that's not really fair. Among Us is sort of like Wii Bowling, right? Like, everyone played Among Us. Like, even Grandma played Wii Bowling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, Among Us doesn't really count. But the game that you've started playing, and I just sort of offhandedly, like, introduced it to you, is Stardew Valley.
Yep.
And this, I did not expect it. I'm like, dude, you'll like this game. We could play it a few times. I thought we would, like, play it a little bit. We'd build, like, a little farm, and then that would be it. No, that's not what Cory has done. This man has put in, like, 100+ hours into this fucking game. How many hours do you have into it now?
According to my Steam, 126.9 hours.
Sheesh.
Now
that's insane.
Listen. This was
I'm proud of you.
I'm
proud of you.
Now, number one, this is how far Stardew Valley has gone for me. I'm talking about, I opened my last episode of Fat Guy Radio Show talking about Stardew Valley. We've been doing that show for 10 years, Jake, and we've never opened the show with a video game. I am so freaking engulfed in this game. It's ridiculous. And it was literally where Jake and I had done a Jake and Cory show, and Jake says, hey, check out this game. Go download it.
Stream it, yeah.
And watch. And it stemmed off of the fact that you were playing some hospital game one time on your Twitch stream that I was kind of interested in. It was I can't remember what it was, but you were making
2 Point Hospital.
Yeah, 2 Point Hospital, and you were putting the hospital together and all this other kind of stuff, and you were building the thing. What I didn't realize, what I was really expressing, was a new love for Sims. For the simulated life and stuff like that. So Jake,
yeah, simulation games. I love simulation games.
So dude. I guess I love simulation games, and I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I said on my show. But Stardew Valley has literally not taken over my life, but it has literally become a part of my life. And I am going to credit the pandemic for doing this, because what I was doing before I started playing Stardew Valley, or before I started playing Among Us, is I was watching Twitch streamers. That's what I was doing. I was diving into Twitch streaming, and that's what I wanted to get into. And I knew Jake had streamed on Twitch. So then Jake and I started talking about it, and then our bond and our bromance just exploded over Twitch. And then before you know it, I'm buying new equipment and all this other kind of stuff. And then Jake's telling me, you're just going overboard. You're going overboard. And I did. And I'm happy that I did do it. But Jake was instrumental in getting me to that level. And then now what I have feared has become my reality. I have always been afraid of video games because I am an obsessive personality type, and I am now finding myself obsessed with this game.
But here's the thing about Stardew, and like you think 120 hours is like a lot of hours, which it is. I'm not gonna discredit that. Like, that is a lot of hours. But like, once you're done with Stardew, like, it's pretty easy to move on. Whereas like Call of Duty, like, those games don't have an end. Like, those games are literally just like, oh, let's squat up and keep going. Like, Stardew, eventually you're going to be like, okay.
No, there is no end to Stardew, man, because he keeps releasing new patches. He keeps releasing new content into the game. And this is what I love about this game.
But you play one game, though, it's not like the end of the world.
I know. I play one game, and we were talking about it on my show, and we were like, and I was like,
and it's also a game that's very easy to multitask to. You could continue watching the Twitch streams while you play the game.
Yeah, I can, but then I can't because then I'm like, oh crap, I'm falling asleep, and I need to still do something. Dude, I'm so the reason why Stardew Valley is so amazing, and besides taking how it's affected me out, the game itself is so amazing because I classify it as this. It is a manipulation. You can manipulate the game, and there's also gameplay. And I know that I'm not a gamer, so I'll explain that. Manipulation of this game means that you can do things in the game that cause the game to go in a different direction. But while the game is moving in that different direction, there's gameplay that goes along with it. There are things that you still have to do even as the game storyline develops in order to keep the game going. Why this game is just so amazing to me is because of its pace. I love the pace of this game. When I'm watching streamers play Rust, I'm like, it's very graphic. It's very fast. Even Among Us was very fast, where you got to watch out of your peripheral vision on who's running the specimen and all this other kind of stuff. Stardew Valley is the perfect pace for me. I love the pace of the game. I love the fact that, it's not, moving fast, and it's not highly graphical. You know what I mean? I think it's considered 6-bit. Not 2-bit, not 16-bit, but 6-bit, where it's a little 6-bit pixelated, you know what I mean? I love that about the game. Yeah. Or 8-bit. I love that about the game. I love its pace. I love its process. And it just keeps sucking me in. When I accomplish one thing, that thing now opens up a door for something else that I have to accomplish. And then that opens up the door for something else that I have to accomplish. And then it's just like I keep chasing and the game keeps giving me things to accomplish. And that's what I love about it. I love this game. And I get to manipulate it. I'm building a relationship in it. I'm building 2 relationships in it. I'm cheating on my girlfriend in the game right now, which is really interesting. I got some pig lady that sells me stuff that's out of season that I shouldn't be able to have. And then my biggest accomplishment that I wanted to do, that I fought through speed running through the season of winter, was to get my freaking greenhouse built in the game. And then I know the whole storyline behind it is that the farm was from my dead old dusty grandpa, and that's what that shrine is over in the corner. And every time I accomplish a vision that grandpa once had for the farm, another candle gets lit on the grandpa shrine over in the corner that I put a useless well in front of. This game is amazing. And I blame Jake.
I'm gonna say one thing to you that may ruin your life even more.
Yes.
You should check out City Skylines.
Wait a minute.
Well,
I thought you said I should go Farm Simulator. I got that on my wish list in my Steam.
Yeah, I just want you to get that so we can play it together.
I was looking at Farm Simulator, and that was pretty cool too.
I know you will love that game too. But City Skylines is literally like you build a city, you plan out the city, you create residential zones, commercial zones.
I was even watching you play Sims. What was the game that you were playing? Yeah. Sims with the lady?
The Sims.
I was watching you playing The Sims, and I'm like, that looked pretty damn cool too. I think that I found what I like. I think I found the simulation genre. Yeah. I think you found.
Yeah. Gee, I love simulation.
You found my video gaming G spot, Jake. You hit my gaming G spot, baby.
Yeah, I like those games because they're a nice escape from, because like. My problem with video games, and I love video games, and I love these games too, but like every game is like shooty, kill, bang, bang. And like that's cool from time to time, but like it's so nice and refreshing to have a game where you don't kill anyone. Well, I guess you kill skeletons.
Yeah, you kill skeletons, you kill bats, you kill guys with mask on and the mask on their face. And now I've reached this level of the mines where skeleton
that's
flies out.
That's such a minor part of the game. Like
it's a minor part of the game, but it's another level of the game. And you don't understand that killing those little small little things opens up another realm of the game. And what I love so much, and my point of pride, and Jake, we can go out on this. My point of pride on this is when I show Jake where I am in the game, and he tells me, and Jake is a huge gamer. When Jake tells me,
call me fat, I get it.
No, you're not fat. When Jake tells me, Cory, you've reached levels of this game that I haven't reached, that's when I know I'm doing something.
Yeah, I've probably put in the same amount of hours as you into that game, just because I've played it on so many different platforms and started over, but I've never consistently like been on a farm in that game as long as you have. I always get to a point and stop and then start over again.
Nah, I got to keep going. I on my Steam, I keep getting, and that's another thing. The Steam app, it's not helping me, Jake, because it's got achievements on it. I reached an achievement of making over $1 million in the game, and I'm part of 23% of other people that have played that game that have reached that. And then the Steam app is like, you've got 18 achievements of 40 that you can get. Ooh. And I'm like, okay, bro, now I got to get those achievements.
Bro, I got to tell you something about that, okay? On PlayStation, there's these things called trophies, and they're done way better than the achievements on Steam. And the reason for that is once you get every trophy in the game, in a specific game, you get what's called a platinum trophy. And then you have and there's silver, gold, and bronze trophies. It's like this meta game within gaming. And I only have 13 platinum trophies, but I'm so proud of my platinum trophies. Like, look at these.
I wish they sent you real.
100% of this.
I wish they sent you real. And on Among Us, real quick, I was so proud to see Rosie O'Donnell post a picture on her Instagram page, and she was wearing an Among Us mask. I love that woman. I love me some Rosie O'Donnell.
Who do you think Rosie O'Donnell's playing Among Us with? You think it's like her and Joy Behar and Whoopi
Goldberg, Sandra Bernhardt. I can just imagine them just
Oprah,
there.
right? Didn't Oprah and Rosie O'Donnell have a friendship?
I think they did have a friendship for a while. I think
because Rosie O'Donnell had that show on the O Network, right?
And then I think when their friendship kind of dissolved, I think that it was over that show. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So now, of course, I'm looking at to find how the hell and where do I get.
I would love to play
Among Us.
I would love to play Among Us with Rosie.
Oh God, I think it would be just absolutely hilarious. But Stardew Valley, the game, it hit. Jake, you hit my G spot with that. You hit my G spot with Stardew Valley, and I absolutely love it. I work from home, and I'm not gonna allegedly. There may be a time where I rush through my day work, so I can plug in my other laptop and play Stardew Valley. That's alleged. That's alleged. Allegedly.
Well, this has been the show. I appreciate you all for checking it out, listening to us bitch all the time. I love it. I love you. I love you, Cory.
I love you, Jake.
I love myself. And I hope to see you next week. Make sure you check out the Loner Gamecast every Tuesday as well. Make sure you check out Fat Guy Radio Show every Thursday. And yeah, bye-bye. Check me out on Twitter. I'm very active on there.
Yeah, you are.
Emergency Pizza. Jerking off just makes me more awake, honestly.
What? It doesn't put you to sleep?
Often, and I jerk off every time before I'm going to go to bed. and every time I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I'll just jerk off real quick. And then I'm like, I'm wide awake now. That just perked me right up.
Something is wrong with you, man. What, do you also watch porn for the entertainment factor? Come on, man. What do you mean?
Sometimes I'm like, what was the guy who owned the fucking porn magazine? Oh my God, Playboy.
Hugh Hefner.
He would have the fucking magnifying glass, and he'd get a close up of the girls like they're diamonds or something. He's like, oh yeah, that's quality stuff. I do that with porn. Yeah,
dude, I can't believe
just on my phone.
I don't want to take a deep dive into the into the nighttime rituals of Jake. However, I think you're broken if that doesn't put you to sleep, because the serotonins that are released in a male body after climax is part of what's released in your body when you go to sleep. That's why dudes roll over and want to go to sleep after, the end session.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I've heard this from people who like run a lot, where if they run for a long time after the good run, they're like, yeah, I'm ready for the day now. That's kind of how I feel after jerking off.
Dude. So you got to switch it up and do it in the morning. But then you got to
in the morning too.
Then you got to walk. Oh my God.